成長かユナイテッドエンパイア。今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアのちょっと応援してくれるってよ。みんな、ブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host, King Rome. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
Excellent, excellent. Always good to hear that. Welcome to the podcast tonight, guys. This is episode number 87 with our AEW Rampage review. I thought we had a pretty good Rampage here tonight. Rome apparently has himself a hot take he said he's going to go over, so I'm not sure what segment that's for. I couldn't imagine many hot takes tonight, except there might be one actually, but I'm not sure if I've hit the nail on the head. So we'll see as we go through the night here. What'd you think of the episode overall?
I liked it a lot. I thought, well, I mean, obviously, I thought that the opener definitely carried the show. I would have loved for it to go on last, but I do understand the reasoning with it being Rampage. They always start with their biggest match. That's just the style of the show. But yeah, no, I mean, overall, a great episode with a lot of story, a lot of build, and one excellent fucking wrestling match. My take will not go very long into the show until we talk about it. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think this is going to come in as a hot take.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
So we start off the episode with Mike Tyson immediately coming out for some commentary on Katsuyori Shibata versus Orange Cassidy. Man, this was incredible. You know, at first I was skeptical of Tyson being on commentary. He's a little older. He's a little eccentric, you know. He's kind of, I think everybody knows what I'm saying here. He's Mike Tyson, right? I was a little nervous on what was going to go down with Tyson on the announcers there, but I think he did great. He didn't do too much. He just added a little bit here and there when, you know, it kind of felt like it was needed. I thought Tyson did great. What'd you think of Tyson's performance here?
You know, I completely agree with you. I went into tonight not expecting it to be very good.
Exactly.
But I was pleasantly surprised. Now, was it like incredible? No, it wasn't. But at the same time, I want to say that like the job that Tyson did tonight, it shows you that Tyson was not just paid to come out. I'm sure he got a paycheck for working tonight, but like this man was genuinely excited to be doing what he was doing tonight, and you could tell. Like just the amount of times he got like super into it himself, and like he was so excited that he was talking over the other announcers. He could have very easily came in, sat there tonight, ran off a couple of lines and then pieced out. This man talked more than any of the other commentators. He just seemed like he loved being there. He tried to do a little bit of a play-by-play thing, and STO got done, and he pointed out that it was an STO, and it's just it's like it just felt genuine. He felt like he really wanted to be there, and he felt like he really loved it. And he was marking out for Orange Cassidy. So
yeah, and even right away he had said he was like, you know, I want to come back. Like, he made sure they knew he wanted to come back before he even did his job. You know what I mean? It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, and you know, it's just, I loved it. He did a great job, and just him, like, Shibata comes out, and he's like, wow, Shibata's wrestling. And it's like, Okay.
Yeah, and I actually wrote this down here. For those of you who don't really know, this is a big deal. Shibata was injured to the point where he almost died. Like, I think there was like a better chance of him dying than living, like a much better chance. It's kind of crazy. I
Yeah,
don't know
this is
the
only
exact.
his second or third match back in pro wrestling since 2017.
Yeah, it's wild. And, if you don't know, this is definitely a big, big, big deal. And man, these guys did not disappoint. These two were unreal, man. Orange Cassidy just gets better and better, man.
Jeff, it's time for my hot take. We have arrived at my hot take.
Oh wow, already. Okay.
Yeah,
Did not
yeah.
expect it to be anywhere near this match.
No. So it's November. We're going to be, within about a month from now, a month and a half, because it's going to happen more towards the end of December. We're gonna have to start throwing together our like yearly awards, and obviously John Moxley is in the conversation and he's the front runner.
Yeah.
But Orange Cassidy, Dax Harwood, get the fuck out of the way. Wrestler of the year. And hold on. So here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. And I'm going to like actually do some research to kind of have like a body of work to back this up. Now, obviously, again, John Moxley, generational. That's an uphill battle. I get it. But every time that Orange Cassidy has stepped up to the plate, every fucking time, no matter what this guy's doing, whether it's the Trios tournament, whether it's his work against Adam Cole this year, against Pac, to this date, my favorite match this year, him at Forbidden Door against Will Ospreay. That's my favorite match of the year. I'm sorry. That's the match of the year. And then just every time this man steps up to the plate, he fucking hits a home run. These three-way dance title defenses. His match tonight against Shibata. I cannot look back on this year, on this calendar year, and say one thing that I look at Orange Cassidy and be like, that was fine. Like, I can't do it. I'm going to go back and look over it a little bit more. Obviously, John Moxley, he's the top guy. He's the guy who's really in the running here. Dax Harwood, fantastic year. However, I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm like, this man moves merch. This man is an amazing character. We've had these discussions all the fucking time. I'm watching Rampage tonight, and Mike Tyson is fucking marking out over Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, that's wild, dude.
Like, I'm like, look, man, I don't know what to tell you. Anyone that doesn't like Orange Cassidy, it's just like I get it. I understand that he does have a little bit of a comedic thing to him where like some people might not want to take him seriously. At the end of the day, his work with Pac, I just thought about that too. His rivalry with Pac this year has been fucking phenomenal. Like, this dude is just incredible. And is he going to win Wrestler of the Year awards? Probably not, unfortunately. I really think Mox is just having a very good year. More specifically because of CM Punk dropping the ball at the times that he has. But it's just, I don't know. That's my hot take. My hot take is I'm sitting here on November 4th, 2022, and I doubt much is going to change in the next month and a half to make me say otherwise. Orange Cassidy, Wrestler of the Year, 2022. Fight me.
As much as I want to like come up with a reason that, that is a hot take, can't come up with one right now, man. Like, it's hard to argue. It is very hard to argue against what you just said.
I think what's going to be really fun this year, I think last year we kind of just went off AEW's kind of awards and picked them. I think this year maybe we'll make our own, and we'll maybe we'll both come together and not nominate, or we'll ask the fans to nominate or something like that. But I don't know, man. It's just my favorite match this year is an Orange Cassidy match. Like, a lot of my favorite work this year that's been done has been Orange Cassidy work. The guy makes me laugh. I'm so invested. I'm watching this match tonight, and like you could make the argument that Shibata wins tonight. You can, because number one, it's the All Atlantic title. It's a traveling title. He's a Japan guy. He's a high profile Japan guy. It's just like, you could make the argument here where Cassidy just, okay, well, the whole point about Cassidy is he plays these mind games, but when he loses, it's because he plays the mind games. It backfires. And you could make the argument that would happen tonight, but and like, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, this was a fucking incredible match, and I was just like, I loved it. It made me laugh. But at the same time, it also had me on the edge of my seat, like, holy shit, who's going to win this match? I loved when they sat down.
Yep.
Cassidy takes a page out of Shibata's book and he sits down. And of course, Shibata comes over and he's like, hit me. He's like, no, you hit me. No, you hit me. No, you hit me. And Cassidy's like,
dude, when Cassidy screamed, hit me, and Shibata basically just like Hulk smashed him into the ground, that was one of my favorite parts of the night. That was one of the funniest and coolest things I've seen in a minute.
Yeah.
So good.
So, yeah, Orange Cassidy. And again, I think that there's a lot of guys who are having phenomenal years. I think Mox, Jericho, Dax. But, like, I'm sorry. I'm sitting here and I am going to I might look back at some point this weekend for the Wednesday show to kind of back this up. But, I can't think of anything bad this guy's done all year. I think everything he's done I've been extremely into. Whether it be Tony Khan's fault or anyone's fault, the dude's been on TV consistently. It's because he's a needle mover. People don't want to admit it, but Tony Khan puts these guys on TV a lot of times because they're needle movers. He looks at the merch sales. Yeah. He looks at things like that. He looks at where the ratings spike, and they do spike for Orange Cassidy. But so that's my hot take. Orange Cassidy is right now my wrestler of the year for 2022.
Like I said, as much as I would like to argue with you, I can't come up with anything that would argue my side of the case there. So
plus, like, my God, Jane as a song, like,
yeah.
Oh, I remember the days where you didn't get it, and I was just like,
no, remember, it was just I'm not a fan of classic rock, so like right away I was like, oh, this classic rock song, but it's so good now. After I've heard it 3-4 times, it's so good.
And it's a really good song. Like, you might not be into classic rock.
It has actually helped me enjoy classic rock slightly. I will admit that.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Or more so, help me enjoy these new bands that kind of make classic rock, if that makes any sense. Like Greta Van Fleet, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Greta Van Fleet's pretty good. I like Greta.
So good. All right, so like you were mentioning, the part where they sit down cross-legged in front of each other and Cassidy kind of gives him some of the slaps. Shibata normally does hard slaps like that. Cassidy gives him the soft ones, kind of like his kicks. And then he tells Shibata, go ahead, hit me. And Shibata just annihilates him with a chop from cross-legged position. Cassidy just immediately is like splat onto the mat. It was so good. These two are incredible. If Shibata is not retiring and if he is available somehow, sign this man, please. I want this guy, is all elite ASAP.
Well, so, and here's something else I'll say. So Shibata revealed, or it came out via The Observer this week, Shibata, he had two guys that, like, he wanted to work with in AEW. He was like, I want to go to AEW and do some work. There's two guys who I just really want to wrestle more than anyone else. One of those guys is Bryan Danielson. The other guy, he wrestled tonight. Like, yep. These guys want to wrestle Orange Cassidy. These guys come here. Like, Orange Cassidy is one of those guys, like people want to come and work with him. That's important. Like that.
Oh,
again,
yeah,
like, again, going back to the wrestler of the year award, this is just how strongly I feel about this. You just have talent that want to come here and want to work with him. Like, it's great.
All right, so let's see here. Shibata hits a huge Death Valley driver, and he actually goes for a second one. He lets Orange Cassidy counter it into the beach break. Orange Cassidy gets up and hits him with a nasty orange punch, but Shibata kind of no-sold it there. Did you notice that? He kind of like held his jaw, but he no-sold an orange punch. He goes after his finisher, but Cassidy counters that into a second orange punch and gets the 1-2-3 for the win in an absolutely incredible match. If you guys didn't see this, I'm sure they posted some of it on their Twitter or on their YouTube page. This was incredible. Yeah. So good.
Absolutely. Just excellent match. Just another one in the resume for Orange Cassidy.
And this is one of those matches that, like, normally I could care less what Dave thinks, but I really want to see his star rating for this match because it better be 4+ minimum.
The problem is, and so I do have one issue with the show tonight, and it's not an issue with the show itself. This crowd tonight, fucking terrible.
Yeah, they were not very good.
terrible. And I don't know what that was going on because apparently the dark taping's really good too. Apparently Mox is teaming with Claudio and Yuta on the dark taping. Like it was a pretty good dark taping.
You know, I feel like there's a little bit of audio issues lately, and I think the crowd might have been better than we think. It just didn't come across very well, you know, in the audio.
I don't know. Even in the video, a lot of the crowd, like they seemed like they were kind of standing in spurts. It just didn't seem like a very good crowd. Was pretty disappointed in them.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely never noticed them actually doing anything. I didn't really notice any signs, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I mean, this was the first of like 2 or 3 moments of the night where I was just like, man, this crowd is dead.
yeah.
And like they should not be. Like and Dave, the problem is with Dave is that and it's not really a problem because I understand the logic. Dave's ratings often that he does take crowd interaction into it. So if a crowd's not into a match, it almost doesn't matter how good it is. Dave doesn't usually rate it as high. So I am a little worried about that losing it some points, unfortunately.
Well, you know, like I said, I am definitely interested in seeing what his rating is for this one. You know, we'll see that over the next couple of days.
Yeah, for sure.
We got a nice handshake between Orange Cassidy and Shibata at the end there. That was pretty cool. Cassidy put his sunglasses on Shibata and they posed for a nice picture. That was actually a pretty good pose right there. Which, holy shit, that's one of the craziest things because I have Twitter up in front of me just in case. And literally that photo popped up as I was saying a pretty cool pose. That's really funny. All right, next up, we had Lexi Nair backstage with Toni Storm. And dude, I think we got a little bit of a shoot here. Toni Storm saying that, you know, she remembers being homeless with Jamie Hayter during the pandemic. And it almost looked like her voice cracked a little bit. You know, like she was having some real emotions going on during this one. Did you catch that?
You know, I did, and it's honestly one of my favorite things about pro wrestling. In the right places because it takes things that just it leans on history. You know, you can use misfortune and controversy in real life and really make money in the pro wrestling business.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe it. I do believe that Jamie and Tony probably had to, you know, they got through the pandemic together. Um, and yeah, I think that this has been actually a really it's been pretty fascinating because I think it's been a pretty quick build to get to. I mean, like it was kind of slowly building up with Tony and Jamie but it was more so Tony and Britt. But I feel like in the last week or so, they really flipped that switch where they're like, no, we're doing Tony and Jamie at the pay per view.
Yeah.
But I think that for the short build that it's been like, you know, specifically on these two, I think it's been a very strong build. I think it's been a really smart build and well done. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really good match with a pretty unpredictable finish, in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually agree. I feel like for once they're doing a proper build for these you know, women's title matches. I shouldn't say for once, but you get what I'm saying. Like they really are doing a good job with the build on this one. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, I get it. At the end of the day, I mean, we have to call a spade a spade. You know, I'm not like I mean, you're not either, but I'm not a fanboy. If I don't like something in AEW, I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
And Tony dropped the ball with Thunder Rosa's title reign to the extent, to the point where just people just fucking hate Thunder Rosa. Like it was just that bad of a title reign, and like that mixed with some backstage issues where it's just like people are out on her. And like that's their business. I'm not gonna sit here and continue to defend Thunder Rosa because I'm not 100% on her side at this point. But I do think people are a little bit much about it. I think it's a little extreme and a little overboard. So she's a very talented wrestler. That being said, I think I think that people just kind of have this. People pick and choose. I don't think it's on purpose to remember certain things. Like how nobody remembers that Hangman Adam Page had a banger title reign. It's like it's the same thing. Like if you laid this out on paper, maybe I'll do this also this week because you know just to put the Hangman title reign thing to bed. But like people just pick and choose the weirdest things to remember things by.
Yeah.
And it's just like people look at the women's title and it's like, oh man, the women's title is not respected. It's like outside of Thunder Rosa, name a champion who had a bad run. I mean, because you had Riho, who was amazing, and then you had Nyla Rose, who was amazing, and then you had Shida, who was fucking incredible, and then you had Britt Baker, who, as a champion, obviously towards the end it got a little stale, but still excellent overall. And then Thunder Rosa, her winning the belt was excellent, but then it was kind of like the Thunder Rosa reign is just not good. Like that's just factual.
Yeah.
But that's a booking problem. That's Tony dropping the ball, unfortunately. And then you have Tony Storm killing it. So, like, in the 3-year history of the company, if you're looking at the women's title, you're looking at one bad title reign out of 5 or 6 at this point. It's like, okay, well, still a good championship, still good booking being done around the title at least. That's just.
Now, I got to mention this with Tony Storm. This time tonight, she really reminded me of Marilyn Monroe. Like, maybe Coach can be the only one that relates to me on this one. This is old man Jeff here, but she had this Marilyn Monroe vibe tonight that was incredible.
Jeff, I know who Marilyn Monroe is.
Oh, I know, but I was kind of, giving you the chance to be like, oh, old man Jeff with Marilyn Monroe from the 40s or 50s.
That's true. You're talking about someone who's been dead for 60, 70 years or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
But still incredible. She was like my favorite growing up.
Yeah, but Marilyn Monroe is one of those things that she's an icon of her era. Like that, it carried over. Like they made I know, like I've seen like Futurama and Simpsons jokes about like, or not just them, but just jokes in general about people standing over in dresses, standing over the grate and the dress flying up. Like, it's like some things in pop culture last the test of time. And oddly enough, Marilyn Monroe is definitely one of those things from that era. I don't know much else from that era in terms of pop culture, but I know who Marilyn Monroe is.
Marilyn Monroe and JFK, that's about it.
Did they do it or something?
She's the one who sang Happy Birthday, Mr. President, and made everything all awkward. Yeah.
I swear I heard somewhere that she fucked the Kennedys too.
She what?
I heard that she slept with the Kennedys. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like the way she sang Happy Birthday, Mr. President, everybody was like, wait a minute, what?
Oh, okay, I got it.
And people think that people think she died because she knew too much. We'll put it that way. But all right. So next up, we had Lexi Nair again with the Blackpool Combat Club. This was Claudio Danielson and William Regal. This was really well done. So first we had Claudio saying like, Jericho, I'm not finished with you. I never got my rematch, so look no further for your next title reign or title defense. And then Danielson kind of said, if I had one more chance, I could beat you too. So I want a shot. And I was like, oh, dude, he's going to make them face each other first. But I was actually wrong. We'll find out a little bit later on here. But this actually made me think that Jericho was going to make these two face off against each other. Did you get those vibes too?
I got those vibes in the beginning of the next promo with Jericho. Sitting here watching this promo, what I thought was going to happen was I thought that we were going to get Jericho versus Claudio at Full Gear for the title with a dirty finish, at which case Danielson was going to come in and Jericho was going to say, and like I thought they were setting up for Danielson Jericho at Final Battle, where Danielson becomes Ring of Honor champion.
Okay.
That's kind of where I thought they were going with it. Obviously, we're going to see in a little bit that the plans for the pay-per-view are pretty different from that. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. Okay, next up we had Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Sky Blue and Madison Rayne, who were already in the ring. No entrance for you. So, I saw some people on Twitter being like, oh, I wonder who's going to win this random women's tag team match. And I'm like, it's not random at all. They've been doing this for like 3 weeks now. These ladies have faced each other on some show, one form or another, right?
Yeah. So the thing, the thing was, I thought you were going to have a little bit of a longer thought. Sorry. Anyway.
Oh, you're
good. The thing about it is those people critiquing that are just dumb. And let me tell you why they're dumb. Because in pro wrestling, I don't care what company it is, no matter how good or bad your company is, you have matches like this where the idea is to build up Jamie and Britt. Give them a win. Jamie has a title match at the pay-per-view. she's not going to lose to another tag team right now. They're not like
Exactly.
that. Bad booking would be her losing right now. And so it's just like, yes, Rampage is an hour long. They had to do the entrance during the commercial break. Tony Khan has mastered crafting. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you real quick. He put how many segments into tonight's show? Sorry, hold on. He
So
put
he's a master at women's tag team matches. I love them, all of them.
put 7 segments into an hour of television tonight.
Yeah.
7. Like, come on, like just stop it. like
Yeah.
it's just a match that they need to have Jamie and Britt win to go over. It's a tune-up match. Like this thing happens in wrestling. And
hang on real quick. I gotta post this picture somebody just posted on Twitter here. This is great. Hang on. Let me make sure my button is going to work.
Yeah, go ahead, post it.
All right, here we go. You gotta see this.
Okay, I'm gonna be on.
Oh, that's me. That's not what I wanted. Hang on.
Okay. Waiting for it. The
there
anticipation is building. Let's see. I'm waiting. I have to wait like 3 or 4 seconds.
Oh man, it's Ricky Starks carrying AEW on his naked back. That's so good.
Well, that's you. Hold on, we're about to get it. Almost there. That's funny.
All right.
But anyways, yeah, it's a tune-up match. It's called smart good booking. Just get over it. Fucking dork.
So this was it was a decent tag team match. Like, of course, if you're able to predict it, oh my god. But it was what it was. We had 2 jobber girls versus the 2 that are in the feud with the world champion. I mean, come on, it was a decent match. Sky Blue did great. She spent most of the time in the ring. Madison Rayne got the hot tag real quick, but let's see here. Who actually won this one here? It looked like Britt.
Yeah, Britt and Jamie won the match.
Yeah, Britt and Jamie won the match, but I'm trying to remember. I'm lost in my notes here of what actually happened. I think Jamie Hayter hit the ripcord lariat, right? She hit the ripcord lariat for the win on the Madison Rayne.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. Unfortunately, my notes for this match weren't very good. I was eating some pizza.
Yeah, sorry about that. I actually I scribbled it here, and I actually can't read my own writing because I was trying to watch and write at the same time. But yeah, I believe Jamie Hayter hit a big time ripcord lariat, and she gets the 1, 2, 3. Toni Storm comes storming down to the ring and basically just annihilates Rebel with one shot as she's trying to come up and confront her. That was pretty hilarious the way she just knocked her out. She grabs Britt, throws her into Bury the Barricade, and gets in the ring with Jamie Hayter, and they start having a hockey fight. Looked like Toni Storm got the better of the hockey fight. She winds up on top, starts absolutely pounding Jamie Hayter into the mat, and Britt Baker comes with the World Championship belt and smashes Toni Storm right in the face. This was great. This was an excellent way to finish this match. Look, Toni Storm looked really strong. They actually didn't make Jamie Hayter look super strong here at the end because, Toni Storm kind of got the better of her, had her in the Texas Cloverleaf, and then she needed Britt to come bail her out. I think this is going to come up again in their actual match, and Britt's not going to bail her out.
Ding, ding, ding. You figured it out, Jeff. Great job. You've
picked
up on the little storytellings. I knew eventually if I kept giving you the square block, you were going to put it through the square hole. I'm really pleased to hear this. Yeah, no, that's number one, I mean, you also, while you want Jamie to look strong, you also need Toni to look strong. So it makes sense for Toni to kind of get the better of Jamie here. But yeah, Britt Baker is the let's say the smoking gun per se. Like she is the puzzle piece here that makes this match unpredictable.
Yeah.
Because honestly, there's 2 ways this match can go, and Britt Baker, in my opinion, I think is involved in both of them. You could argue that Britt does not help Jamie, and Toni beats Jamie Hayter, and that's the thing. I feel like people are going to get really upset if Toni Storm wins at Full Gear. Brace yourself, because the odds of Toni Storm winning, I would say right now it's about 50-50. I understand Jamie Hayter's over, but sometimes you got to let these things build. You got to let these things cook. I would really love to see a blood feud between Jamie and Britt go. I would love to see that feud go. But I mean, we'll see. It's a 50-50. I could see Britt kind of costing Jamie the title. I could see Britt not helping Jamie win the title. I could also see Jamie winning the title and Britt pulling a Triple H Batista. You know what I mean? Like where it's like, all right, well the belt's mine. So here's what I could see. Here's what I would do. I would have Jamie win at Full Gear. We talked about this in the Discord briefly, but I'll elaborate a little bit. Jamie beats Tony at Full Gear. Jamie celebrates. Britt's all happy. They plan for the next Wednesday on Dynamite a celebration. They do the celebration, and at some point in the celebration, towards the end, Britt says, "All right, Jamie, well you've won the title, and now it's time for you to give me my belt back." And so Jamie's like, "No, like what are you talking about?" And she's like, Jamie doesn't really say no straight up, but she's like, "I don't think I want to do that. I earned this." And Britt will be like, no, it's okay. It's okay. We have to have a match for you to give me the title. So next week on Dynamite, it will be Britt Baker versus Tony Storm or Jamie Hayter. Sorry. And so the idea is like on Rampage, they'll do a promo where Britt's just gonna be like, Jamie, all you gotta do is lay down. All you gotta do is lay down for me. Take the pin. And Rebel like talk to Jamie and be like, hey, like we're here for Britt. Like that's what we're here for. Make sure you do the right thing. And then Jamie will say, like, I think I'm going to do the right thing. And then you get to the match where, Jamie goes to lay down, just fakes it, and then you get Britt versus Jamie for real. I'm like, there you go.
That's nice. That's nice.
And then Thunder Rosa comes back in January, and she can feud with Jamie as a heel. That's what I would do.
I actually like what you said there, but I think during the celebration on, let's say the Dynamite after Full Gear, Jamie Hayter's doing her celebration. They got a big old table with a cake and everything in the ring and celebrating. And Britt puts Jamie through the table. That's what I want.
See, the only reason I would say don't do that is because Jamie is supposed to be the powerhouse of the two. So, to me, it's more believable for Jamie to put Britt through a table than the other way around.
Well, I mean, this would be Britt turning on Jamie during the celebration. You know what I mean? It would be unexpected.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, I think it makes more sense. I think Britt wants to keep, again, we're talking in terms of kayfabe here. I would think Britt would rather keep Jamie in her faction than turn on her. So I think Britt would assume that Jamie would lay down for Britt. That's why I would say do it that way. I think that makes a lot more sense.
I'm just picturing this funny scenario in my head of Rebel picking Jamie Hayter up on her shoulders and them celebrating and Britt being like, yeah, and then Britt being like, thumbs down, and Rebel dropping her through the table.
First of all, Jeff, we don't need to completely recreate the Triple H.
I know.
This is like the 6th time in the history of the podcast you've booked this spot.
I'm not saying that they should do this. It was just going into my brain and I was laughing on the inside. That's all.
I get it. I understand. You really like that spot. I like certain spots too, so I understand.
It is one of my favorite spots of all time, possibly.
It has to be like your favorite spot. Like that.
It's definitely top 3.
I swear to God, and I wish somebody could go back over the 87 episodes of the podcast to verify this. You've definitely fantasy booked this at least 6 times.
Oh yeah, probably.
Like I swear to God, like
every in one form over another, yeah.
Every time you suggest it, I'm like, I don't know if that really works in this situation. And you're like, I know, but it would be really cool. Like,
just want to force it in there somewhere.
Seriously, this is gonna be a really good match. I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, and I don't know if you caught it at the very, very end of this. Britt Baker actually kissed Toni Storm on the forehead while she was laying there KO'd. I was like, what was that all about?
I mean, she knocked her out. So.
Yeah, All right, next up was the Jericho Appreciation Society. They did kind of a video package of Jericho yelling at Lamar Jackson and calling him out. And then Lamar Jackson was doing his, I don't know if that was pregame or postgame. It looked pregame because he wasn't sweating and he didn't have any, I'm not sure if it was pre or postgame, but he was in his full uniform. And somebody from ESPN had asked him about Chris Jericho, saying he was going to kick his ass. And he just said it was crazy. He didn't expect him to say it. And it was cool because he's liked wrestling since he was a kid. So that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it got a lot of buzz. I think AEW has done a really good job the last few weeks getting some good buzz. You know, Rick Ross on Dynamite last Wednesday. You know, Mike Tyson tonight. Like they're getting some good buzz right now. And I mean, Swerve is obviously playing a big part of that. But I mean, yeah, it's getting good buzz, and like I was actually really happy to see Lamar there because usually they just get someone like the players from the teams. Yeah, Ryan Davis saying it was post practice. I thought
Post
it was,
practice, okay. Thanks, Ryan.
I think it happened on like Thursday or Friday, so it was definitely like their practice.
And it was really cool because they actually tweeted, you know, at AEW from the Ravens Twitter account, so that had to be really cool.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure they got a few eyes on the product for that. So
yeah. I mean,
Jericho comes out and essentially he's doing a backstage interview here, and he says that Regal says he has to take his pick between Danielson or Claudio, and I'm going to be honest, this shocked the hell out of me. I did not see this coming at all. Remember, I thought Jericho was going to say, here, you two have to face each other, and whoever wins of you two is going to face me. But no, this was crazy. He says he wants both of them, Danielson and Claudio, and he's going to add Sammy Guevara to the mix. That's wild, man. There's going to be a 4-way for the title at Full Gear, and we're going to be there for that one. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, so this was kind of a crazy segment. I mean, so at first, again, when this promo kind of starts, I was on the same page as you, where I was like, oh, they're gonna have, I was like, oh, they're gonna do Claudio versus Danielson at Full Gear, and then the winner faces Jericho at Final Battle. Because you're like, whatever the Final Battle main event is, it's going to have to be something really big, because like that's the show where they're going to announce the TV deal. That's the show that you want to have a lot of eyeballs on. That's the show that WWE decided to put an NXT show up against. But there's no war. Yeah, they announced it after the Ring of Honor show was announced. But, you know, again, no war. But so that's going to have to be a big main event. So I'm thinking they're setting up for Jericho Danielson, you know, and then they do this where it's like a 4-way dance. And then, of course, like, I think I'm overthinking this one. But, like, I watched this segment with Sammy and Jericho, and I wrote in my notes, I was like, they're not giving Sammy the Ring of Honor title, are they? Like, because like clearly they're teasing here that like kind of similar to what I'm booking about Britt and Britt and Jamie, where it's like Jericho's like, you'll do the right thing. I just realized that that's actually a segment tonight after I fancy booked that, so maybe they won't do it like that. But it was like, you'll do the right thing, like you'll have my back and I'll make sure that I win the title, right, buddy? And it's just like I'm like sitting there like,
he did say, he was like, after we take them out, you'll do the right thing. I was like, oh.
yeah, I was like, are they gonna give Sammy the Ring of Honor championship? Like,
now, listen, if you want to take some heat off of Sammy and possibly get people rooting for him again, I don't even know if this will work. You get Jericho hated really bad and have him turn on him. I mean,
no, that's
like I said, I don't even know if it would work, but it looks like that's where they're going.
That's not going to work. There's no way that Jericho turns on Sammy and Jericho gets booed. Like, it's
no. Sammy turned on Jericho in that match. Like,
oh well, no. See, I don't. Jericho can't turn heel or turn face again like that. Like at that point, he'll be reaching. I mean, I guess he won't be reaching Big Show levels, but I feel like he's only been heel. He's been heel for like 9.
No. So I'm saying Sammy turns face on heel Jericho, and Sammy takes his title and is like, I can't believe I was following him for that long. He's such a piece of crap.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is like I don't see how Sammy beating Jericho makes Sammy a babyface.
I got you. Totally get you on that one.
It's not gonna go over. I talk about it. I feel like I defend Sammy a lot on this show. I don't know if I want Sammy being Ring of Honor World Champion. I just don't. I don't know.
No, I agree.
That's a good fit.
I agree. But I do possibly see Sammy making the one-on-one between him and Jericho kind of serious in there, and then them possibly kicking him out. You know what I mean? Kind of.
I don't know. I don't want to say I'm not excited for this 4-way dance because it's going to be excellent. But from a booking perspective, I was actually kind of left scratching my head for this one. because I don't know where they're gonna go with it, because I don't like if Danielson and Claudio lose this match, which again I also during a critique for the match and the booking, I also want to give props to the match and the booking, because here we are, November. It's been 9 months, and this Jericho, this JAS feud against Kingston and his guys, and which evolved into Blackpool Combat Club. Like, it's still going with fresh matchups, and that's fucking insane. That's first of all
Yeah.
problem. Secondly, though, I feel like if Danielson and Claudio lose, I feel like if they lose, then I don't think they should get another shot at Jericho.
No, definitely they shouldn't get another shot if either of them lose. No,
Right.
it'll be the third time.
And I don't think Jericho and Sammy splitting up is meaningful enough to do. Period. Like, the only way I would see it, like, I think Jericho's last feud should be against Sammy Guevara. I think
Okay,
Jericho's
I can
last
see
match
that.
in AEW should be against Sammy, and we know that Jericho's here for at least another 2 years. So I don't see that happening right now. I don't see them doing that match right now. I don't see them breaking up right now. So my thing is just what's the outcome here? What is happening at Final Battle? Because keep in mind, all of this Ring of Honor stuff is culminating at Final Battle, because that's the launching point to next year, where we start the TV show for Ring of Honor. So I don't know. I'm sitting here and I'm just not sure. Like, it's going to be an excellent match, and I'm excited to see it live. I'm excited to see Danielson. I'm excited to see a 4-way dance for the Ring of Honor title. Excellent. I just don't know where we're going with this from a booking perspective.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I definitely do. All right, next up we had Ricky Starks come out and cut a really, really good promo in the ring. And now, to be honest, when you said that the crowd was kind of dead tonight, this was the first time that I noticed that they were dead. I was like, dude, does this crowd even realize Ricky Starks is in the ring cutting a fucking fire promo right now?
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody was out getting some chicken fingers and hot dogs or something, but yeah, they weren't either too into it or whatever it was. Like I said, I think it might have been the arena and something with the audio that the crowd wasn't translating loudly or something, but yeah, it definitely came across here. Did you notice it here?
Yeah, I wrote it again in my notes. Like, the crowd just sucks.
Yeah.
And the venue shouldn't have been the problem, because that's a pretty historic venue. I think that was that's the same venue they did Hogan Savage in WrestleMania 4, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Could be mistaken. But like, that's a pretty big venue that they in Atlantic City. So I know that and AEW's done shows there too, where the crowd was really good. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw a lot of Phillies fans in the crowd, so maybe they were just all kind of a little down. But I don't know. I really don't know.
All right, well, I thought this was good. Ricky Stark says he's going to win that tournament at Full Gear for the AEW Championship #1 contender spot. And he said he doesn't care if it's going to be Moxley or if it's going to be MJF, but he wants that title. So, I think a lot of people are pretty happy to see him at least in the picture of possibly going after the title. It makes sense for Ricky Starks now to be in that kind of sort of conversation of the top 10 guys, you know what I mean? So I liked it. I thought this was good.
So I'm gonna say something, right?
Let's hear it.
I'm gonna say something, and I think what I'm gonna say, maybe this also comes off as a bit of a hot take. I don't think it will. I think Coach is gonna be like punching at the air, like in like, he's gonna be so hyped when I say this. Like, he's in his kitchen right now making dinner while his son is jumping off of the table, doing elbow drops onto the dog. If they have a dog, that'd be really funny if they have a dog.
Dude, I literally did that as a kid, man.
You elbowed your dog, Jesus Christ.
My dad used to say that when he would hear a bell ring, my dog would go run and hide.
Anyways, Coach Nick's about to get hype as fuck. So I'm listening to this Ricky Starks promo, right? Number one, Ricky just speaking Coach's mind. He's like, you all wonder where I've been, which the Observer reported that he was dealing with a non-wrestling issue, which is why he was away for a few weeks. Ricky he enters himself into the Eliminator tournament, which will culminate at Full Gear. the winner will get a world championship shot against either Mox or MJF at Winners coming in December. And I'm listening to this Ricky Starks promo. I'm listening, and he says some stuff, and he's talking about how he's going to put the company on his back, and the pillars aren't doing what they need to do. And you know what he says? Metaphorically, he says, "Give me the ball. I want the ball, Coach." Not Coach Nick, but just in general. And I'm sitting here watching this promo, and I'm like, God damn, if that is not the closest I've ever seen anyone else in AEW get to giving me John Moxley vibes. I was like, again, like, I'm so mad at this crowd, because this could have been the kind of promo that, like, we talk about for a while afterwards. Because it's just like, I don't know, man, like, that was the vibe. Like, and like, again, you can feel genuineness in wrestling. It's one of the beautiful things about pro wrestling, is that, like, if you have a guy just working a gimmick, you can tell he's just a guy working a gimmick. And then, but like, when you could tell when that wrestler takes that bit of realness, that like, they really feel this way. Ricky really feels this way. I follow Ricky Starks on Twitter. Since Brawl Out, he's been very vocal on Twitter. Like, can my coworkers shut the fuck up? That's a Ricky Starks. Like,
that was funny.
This man is sitting here trying to take AEW to the next level. He's trying to elevate and evolve AEW, right? And he sees him, and he believes in himself. You know, he wants to be the guy with the company on his back. He wants to be that dude. And I'm just watching this promo, and I'm just like, God damn, like, we talk about Mox the night after Brawl Out, or the Wednesday after Brawl Out, with that promo that, like, put me in, Coach. I'm not supposed to be here, but here I am. Like, I got the same vibe from this promo, and I think that this tournament, I mean, I think Ricky should win it. And I think we should start having Ricky in that conversation of, like, again, like you said, top 10 in the company, just on a regular basis.
Yeah. Now, before I say I'd like to see anybody win it, I need to know who all's in it. I only know 2 people so far.
I have the card. I have it.
You have everybody that's in it?
Oh, I have everybody that's in it.
All right, let's go. I can't wait for that later on. All right.
Yeah, get excited.
So, let's get to the next one here then. Next up, we had Tony Schiavone with Sammy Guevara backstage. And he was kind of asking him, like, hey, what was that with Jericho saying, you'll do the right thing? And he was like, don't worry about that, blah, 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 blah. I really think that we're going to get Sammy to have a little bit of a serious match with Jericho in that 4-way, and Jericho's going to be kind of pissed at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope not. I don't think it's the right spot for Sammy right now, but I don't know.
Well, like you said, you don't think they should break up quite yet. So I do think that if they could stay together and have this happen, that he could get pissed at Sammy, but kind of like forgive him. And then down the line, like, I never forgive you for, whatever, or something like that. I don't know. But all right. Next up, we had Warjo versus, I wrote down the Embassy, but it was really just the Gates of Agony, right?
Yes, it was
Prince Nana. Oh man, there was one point I wanted to write down Roma's in shambles, but we'll get there.
I can't help myself. There is something about Prince Nana, like, and maybe it's just it's the nostalgia of me going to those Ring of Honor shows in South Philly, and like Prince Nana, like, literally managed like 5 guys one night. Like, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I just fucking love Prince Nana. Like, he comes out, it's all about the Embassy, man. Like, and like, he's like, here comes the money, here comes the money. He hasn't done that much AEW, but he used to kind of like dance around and do that too. Look, man, I don't know what to tell you. I'm a big Prince Nana fan. This guy, like, I don't know what it is. Like, and this is something about AEW. Like it's a lost art, not just AEW, but wrestling. Like, great managers. As a great manager, we have some great managers in AEW right now. You got him, you got Stokely, you got Regal, you got Daddy Ass. Like, we got some fucking great managers in AEW right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I actually really like Prince Nana too. His whole thing, like when we were there in Philly, the stuff that he was yelling and arguing with the crowd was great. The guy's, he's awesome.
Like, for counter, just humor me, Jeff. So, like, outside of Paul Heyman, are there any good managers in the Fed right now?
Outside of Paul Heyman,
Yeah, because Paul Heyman's incredible.
I'm
like,
trying to think of anybody else that even does a manager type deal. Like
is there
I've seen
anybody?
The Miz kind of try to play that role, but
No, I'm
no,
talking like a
there
straight
isn't.
up just a manager, not a wrestler who comes out with someone else. I'm not talking Bailey coming out with Damage Control after they got
No.
squashed. Like I'm talking about
Okay. So
a real.
the only person besides Heyman would have to be JBL right now with Baron Corbin, and that is horrible. Horrible.
It's great. Love it.
I didn't think it was possible to make Baron Corbin worse than he was as Happy Corbin, but they succeeded with JBL.
Jeff, actually, you know what? While we're talking about doing some Fed talk real quick, I need you to clarify something for me because obviously I don't like WWE. I'm not
I'm gonna
gonna.
be honest, I haven't watched in like 3 weeks, so I might not be able to help you, but let's
Okay.
go.
Well, I'm just gonna give my thought anyway. So
Okay.
obviously, on the show, very well established. I'm a big Bray Wyatt guy.
Yeah,
Fucking love Bray Wyatt.
me too.
I was on Twitter before Rampage started, and I saw his promo from SmackDown tonight. It's
I didn't.
fucking terrible. Like,
Was it?
I didn't. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's like, do I have some sort of bias here? Like, I would love for somebody. I don't know if anyone in chat watched it tonight, but like, I'm just sitting here like because again, I love Bray Wyatt, and so I usually go on Twitter or Reddit to find Bray Wyatt stuff, and I watch it on Twitter or Reddit. I'm not giving WWE a view. Oh, Ryan Davis saying Prince Nana has an embassy team in United Wrestling also. I think the champ Jordan Clearwater is it. Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
That's dope. Anyways, so Bray Wyatt, right? So like I watched this segment tonight, and I'm just and like I don't want to hate it. Like again, I don't hate Bray Wyatt. Love Bray Wyatt. I don't like WWE. I hate the Fed, but I want Bray Wyatt to do good work because I'm a legitimately a fan and admirer of his work. But I watched this thing on Twitter tonight, and it's just garbage. Like I don't think it's very good at all. And
I'll have to check it out.
I just couldn't stand it. Like Bray gets like Bray's kind of like doing this thing where he's still talking about his personal issues and stuff, and I don't want to make light of that because I do believe that there's a realness coming from that.
Yeah.
But so he's backstage and this guy tries to tell him like, "Yo, we're live. You can't be cutting a promo right now." I'm sorry, what? I'm like, I'm sorry. Who are you?
I'm like, no shit, we're live.
He's like, yeah, we're live right now. You can't be cutting you can't be doing this right now. And I'm like, a wrestler can't cut a promo on TV. Is this against the rules of pro wrestling? Or I'm sorry, of sports entertainment. So and then like he goes off on like, oh, you know how when someone cuts you off in traffic, you just wish you had 30 seconds with them. That's how I feel right now. I was like, but Bray, you do have to. You. He's like, I just want to take your head right now and smash it up against the wall. And I'm like, so
Who's he talking to?
just like an extra. It was meant to be like a stagehand kind of guy, and he wasn't even a very intimidating looking guy. Like he didn't look super tough. Like, but so he like Bray's like, I just want to take your head and smash it against the wall, and I'm like, so fucking do it. Like what is stopping you from doing this? Like if you're so unhinged, show that you're unhinged. Don't just tell me you're unhinged. Like the Eater of Worlds didn't do that. The Fiend would the Eater of Worlds and the Fiend would have fucked that guy up.
Yeah, for real. Like if the Wyatt family was there, he would have Sister Abigailed that guy's face into the wall.
It's not even the fact that it would be a faction. Like this dude was irrelevant. He's not a wrestler. He was like a backstage producer guy. Like I'm sorry, but like why exactly didn't Bray act on these violent tendencies? Like I guess
figure out what that was all about. I might have to watch a little bit of that because that makes no sense.
I'm telling you what it is. You can go watch. I mean, please go watch it. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
No,
but I'm sitting here watching this. It was terrible. And then I get my video on Twitter cut off, but apparently after that they teased some girl, and I posted it in the Discord, and it's just a ripoff of Jigsaw from Saw.
Yeah, people were posting a bunch of pictures of Jigsaw, and it was like, wow, that's not gimmick infringement, is it?
It's like, I don't know if it's because Bray's had to come up with 3 different gimmicks. Like I'm trying to give this guy the benefit of the doubt, but part of me is just like, man, why'd you go back there? If this it hurts that he went back there, for this to be the work that he's doing there. And now he's going to Saudi Arabia. He's currently in Saudi Arabia taking Saudi blood money. And I don't know. It really bothers me that part of the fact that he's on that show at the very same place where he got destroyed by Goldberg in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
How do you do that? I don't know, man. That money must have been good. That must have been some really good money.
If you're talking about going back in time to look at some of our old podcasts, I wish somebody could find the one where you reminded me of that match of them burying him in the desert. And I was like, that was like a repressed memory. I was like, ah.
Yeah, and Ryan Davis saying the White Rabbit thing had more intrigue to it than the actual return. And I agree. And full disclosure, I understand that I have a bias towards WWE. I don't like them, and I have plenty of real life outside of the product reasons to not like them. I also have plenty of reasons inside of the product not to like them. But I legitimately love Bray Wyatt. I really believe in this guy. I think this guy is a genius, and I love his work, previous work.
Agreed.
I don't think I've watched everything he's done since he's returned, whether it be on Reddit or Twitter, and it's not good. None of it's
what I
good.
thought it was going to be.
He hasn't done anything so far that I've been like, oh, that's really cool. Apart from the Firefly Funhouse being all dusty in his return, and the door kind of being an homage to Brody. Apart from that, I haven't been into anything he's done, and it kind of sucks. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like how do I want to put it? I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but it's if you're a Tom Brady fan, how much does it suck that this guy, right, Tom Brady, if you're a Tom Brady fan, you think he's the GOAT. Regardless of the asterisks of cheating and all that stuff, he's the GOAT to you. This man retires, and you're like, damn, this man retired at the top of his game. He made it to the playoffs. He did pretty well in the playoffs. Didn't get a ring, but it's okay. He's got 7 or 8 of them, whatever it is. Fuck yeah, right? And then he comes out of retirement and then goes on to be terrible this year. They've only won 2 games this year, or 3 games this year, the Bucks. And it's just if you're a Tom Brady fan, you're not having fun this year. This sucks. He's not doing good work.
Have you heard why he unretired?
I believe I did. What did you
So
hear?
the divorce settlement, he was gonna have, once this goes through, if she gets half, it's gonna be 300 and something million. So in order to delay that, he had to unretire and continue making money. So now that he's still playing, it delays the divorce.
No, but the divorce happened because he went back to football.
She decided this well before he went back. We're pretty sure.
I don't know, man. Everything I saw everything I've seen says to the contrary. Is that she wanted to focus on her modeling career. He promised to retire so she could go and do a few years of that because she's getting older. Obviously, models, much like football players, they can't do it forever unless you're specifically modeling for something specific. But bottom line is, she doesn't have a lot of years left where she could be a model the way she wants to be a model. So my understanding of the story is that Tom was supposed to retire to stay home with the kids so Giselle could do her thing after Tom did his thing for 20-something years. And then Tom was just like, fuck that, I'm going back. And apparently that's my understanding. That's where the
it could be.
Anyways, bottom line, I know this is off on a tangent, but I just wanted to get it in because it was something that was legitimately bothering me before Rampage, where I was just sitting there watching. I was like, man, Bray Wyatt's doing really bad work right now.
So let me put the cherry on top of your point there. I haven't watched anything over the past, I believe it's been almost a month now, besides everything that Sami Zayn has done.
Okay.
And you remember before, I was doing episodes with you of Wyatt Watch. We were waiting for this dude to come back. Since he came back, I've been looking for Sami Zayn videos and stuff like that rather than Wyatt videos, you know what I mean? So that should tell you something right there, that Sami Zayn's carrying this whole company on his back right now, man, especially with Kevin Owens vanishing off the face of the earth out of nowhere.
Don't get me started on that because that also just infuriates me. I can't fucking understand. I don't want to hear it about AEW not finding something for Miro to do, for finding other guys to do. WWE has all this TV time in a week. They have 3 hours on Monday night. 3 fucking hours on Monday Night Raw. They have 2 hours of SmackDown. 2 hours of NXT. You like, I mean, obviously you're not gonna have Kevin Owens on main event, but you have an hour of main event. You have all this other ticky tack bullshit you fucking do every week, and you mean to tell me that you have no plans for Kevin Owens? The Observer reported that that this was a report from a few weeks ago, so I just really didn't touch on it. But like, the Observer reports that there are no plans for Kevin Owens. He's not hurt. He's not anything. He's just, they have nothing for him. And like, you telling me that, like, not you, but you know what I mean, like people telling me that, like, that just blows me the fuck away. And like, while we're on the subject, because here we are, I'm venting about WWE because I haven't talked about it much. This Dexter Lumis Miz storyline, right? I had a meaningless conversation on Discord. I'm sorry. I don't think a lot of the discussion on Discord is meaningless, but this was
I had, before you start, I just want to say I had such high hopes with this Dexter Lumis stuff because I really do like Dexter. And then you've nailed it, so just continue on.
Yeah, and again, disclaimer: I've never been a fan of Dexter Lumis. I don't really get him, but I don't hate him. I just don't care about him. Like, I would rather watch The Miz than watch Dexter Lumis. That's just me. I get it. The hot take. So Dexter Lumis comes back the first night after Triple H takes over. Right? It was like the first night they started teasing Dexter Lumis. So this has been like the storyline in the Triple H era, because like everything else, like, I mean, this has been like one of the biggest storylines. It was the one that Triple H immediately put into effect. Like, that was like a night one Monday Night Raw. It had like 3 like things about it. Dexter ends the show. Like, that was Triple H's big thing. And they have Dexter Lumis stalking the Miz, attacking the Miz, showing up to Miz's house. I guess, I don't know. I didn't watch it, but like, just I've seen clips on Twitter. And like, him showing up to the house, and like Miz had a cage match, and Lumis is like underneath, and it's a really funny looking image, haha. And it just so, like, they're doing this feud, and I don't really care. Yeah, like, I don't really care, because it's like, okay, this is just a feud they're doing. It doesn't seem super great, but I don't really care about it. It's mediocre. It's mid. Okay. Yeah. Which is perfect for the Miz and Dexter Lumis. Like, that's mid. You know what I mean? Just completely. So Johnny Gargano does this like parody on 60 Minutes, and he releases like an audio file. Now, this part I did watch on Twitter. I watched the whole thing, and he's like, "The Miz is paying Dexter Lumis to do this." It's like, so like, they're in on this, and like, Byron Saxton's like, "But why would the Miz do this, Johnny Gargano? Why?" Because he's the Miz. And I'm like, what does that mean?
That explains nothing.
That explains fucking nothing. Because here's the thing, right? My thing is, in wrestling and storytelling, there are many things that you can do that are very basic things to have it make sense. What are those things, Jeff? Money. All these wrestlers are in a career right now. Money can be a reason that you can have a feud. Because if I beat you, I get to go to the pay window. I get that bonus for being a winner, right? Now, WWE doesn't really do that type of thing. But like, that's one reason. Money is one reason. What's the other reason? Titles, getting title shots, being dominant, using people to attack another rival. Like, the Miz paying Dexter Lumis to be his goon makes sense if Miz benefits, but Miz has nothing to gain from this. Miz has gained nothing from this in months. So you're telling me that the Miz is spending his money to Dexter Lumis. He's paying Dexter Lumis to stalk him on television with no benefits, like nothing to gain from this. It's not like he's paying Dexter Lumis to like do his dirty work. Like, I think about Shawn Michaels and JBL in 2008, when Shawn couldn't pay his bills and JBL was like, "I'll pay you, but you have to help me win the world title." Like, that made sense because JBL was paying Shawn Michaels to do his dirty work so JBL could elevate himself to the world title. I think it was the Royal Rumble that year, actually, if I recall correctly. But like, this storyline does nothing. There is nothing that Miz gains from this. And when asked why would he do this, because the Miz is a fucking dork. Like, that's the reason that we got. It's like, it's just, he's the Miz. That's what the Miz does. And I'm like,
no, that's stupid. The only direction you could go for this is the Miz is trying to gain sympathy from everybody because he keeps getting choked out every week. That's the only direction you can go that makes any sense whatsoever.
Well, what? How? Why? He's a heel. Why does he care? Like, why does he care about sympathy? Again, like for me in wrestling, like as a wrestler, your motivation should be money, titles, winning, and like if you're in a feud, you want to beat the shit out of the guy you're feuding with. Miz doesn't got into any of these things. In fact, if I'm like Dexter Lumis cost him that cage match. Am I correct on that?
I am not sure actually. Remember, I'm not watching right now.
Can you do a quick Google search for me?
What are we looking for? Dexter Lumis? What?
So there was a cage match. Miz was in a cage match, and Dexter Lumis, like Miz was crawling out, and Dexter Lumis slid from underneath to like.
Oh, he wasn't even in the match. Dexter Lumis was just under the mat, under there to scare him, and he went back into the ring.
That's what I'm saying. So Miz was in that cage match, and it cost him the match.
Yes.
So you're telling me in storyline that the Miz told Dexter Lumis, he's like, Dexter, come here. Tonight, I'm gonna pay you. And Dexter Lumis obviously doesn't speak, but he's like he thinks. Sure, Miz, what do you want me to do tonight? And Miz is like, okay, I'm in a cage match tonight.
Same thing we do every night, Pinky.
Hear me out how fucking stupid this is, because I'm gonna walk everyone through this. So Miz, he pays Dexter Lumis and he says, hey Dexter. Hey Ryan Davis, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Have a good night. Anyways.
All right, Ryan, have a good night, man.
I think Ryan just got sick of me talking about WWE. Anyways, it just so okay. Walking you through this. So you mean to tell me that the Miz came to Dexter Lumis and said, I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna pay you all this money tonight. I'm in a cage match. I want you to go hide under the ring. When I'm about to win this cage match, I want you to show up and scare me back into the ring, thus costing me the fucking match. And
then choke me unconscious at the end of the match, because I'm actually watching the end here.
Yes, you have to choke me out. I will pay you to do this. And like obviously Dexter Lumis doesn't give a fuck. Like from a storyline perspective, Dexter Lumis is like, oh yeah, sure, I need the money, I'll do whatever. So like that half checks out. But like, why isn't the Miz like if the Miz was smart, the Miz like if the booking was smart, it's not smart. If the booking was smart, it should have been that Dexter Lumis inadvertently if he was attacking Miz and Miz was winning by DQ, like not that I believe that DQ finishes are good and WWE relies on them way too much, but that's something I could understand them doing, and I can kind of get it. If like Lumis like made it seem like he was stalking the Miz, but at the end of the day he was like costing Miz's opponents. You know what I mean? Where he was just like he would go to like reach the rope to pull Miz down as Miz was running the ropes, and instead like he hit the other guy. Like okay, that would make sense. It's like damn, Dexter Lumis, he gotta like he's trying to get the Miz, but he keeps coming up short. Oh shucks! But it turns out that he's on purpose missing the Miz. Okay, I can understand that, but no, that's not the reason. He's just a fuck. Miz is just a dork. Miz is just a dork who paid Dexter Lumis to cost him matches.
Yeah.
Fucking hate it. I hate it. Hate it.
Yeah, let's get back on track here, because that's a long tangent on the E. So Warjo versus the Embassy. What?
The product's better, Jeff. It's
yes.
It's better. It's way better.
Sure it is.
Yeah, back on track. I fucking hate this.
The fucking smoke screen. All right, so back to Warjo versus the Embassy here. I got a question for you, Rome. In a 4-way match, including Samoa Joe, did you ever imagine he would be the smallest guy in the ring?
No, I did not, Jeff.
That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very insane.
This match was fucking amazing. We had 4 absolute monsters just going at it. We had hot tags all over the place. Wardlow coming in, you know, the monster he is, hitting not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 power bombs to Khan. He gets the 1 foot on the chest, 1, 2, 3. He starts screaming for Hobbs to come out, and Will Hobbs' music starts playing. And did you notice, as Hobbs was making his way on the ramp, Wardlow kind of pushed Samoa Joe out of the way, and Samoa Joe looked down at his chest and kind of wiped off the push, kind of like, how dare you push me, sir?
Yeah, so I got off into my tangent, but I did have in my notes, even during the pre-match interview, that Wardlow does cut off Joe.
Yeah.
We're clearly getting ready to do Joe versus Wardlow. I think that Joe versus Wardlow might happen at Final Battle.
Yeah, I feel like we might have Joe cost Wardlow his title. I don't know if they want to do like a champion versus champion thing with those two, but I'm not opposed to Will Hobbs having that TNT title. Are you?
No, I don't. I'm not opposed to it at all. I think Hobbs is phenomenal. He's doing great work.
Yeah.
He's been excellent. Him and Ricky Starks both coming up around the same time. Um, you know, future mainstays in the company, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I know it just sounds weird, but hear me out. What if that number one contendership match could be for the TNT title if they wanted to? You know what I mean? So like if Ricky Starks wins, like you were saying, he could go after Hobbs, and that'd be an interesting way to get there.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so they don't actually fight here, but Wardlow and Hobbs kind of confront each other at the ramp, and that's how we go off the air. And Joe was visibly displeased with being pushed by Wardlow. So yeah, like you said, we're definitely on our way to Wardlow versus Samoa Joe, and unpredictable it definitely is.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so that's it for an excellent episode of Rampage. So let's go ahead with what you got for let's go with Full Gear. What do you got for Full Gear? I want to hear the guys that are in that match.
All right, well, so I'm just going to go through everything that I have, including the tournament bracket, but I'm just going to go in the order that I have it recorded. Are you ready?
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead.
All right, so first up, let's go with the Full Gear matches. We have the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, Jon Moxley versus MJF. We have the AEW Interim Women's World Championship, Toni Storm defending against Jamie Hayter. We have the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line when the Acclaimed defend against Swerve in Our Glory. We have the four-way dance for the Ring of Honor World Championship, Bryan Danielson, Chris Jericho, Claudio Castagnoli, and Sammy Guevara. And then we have the tournament for the World Title Eliminator Tournament. Basically, the matches will go down on Wednesday and next Friday, which will lead to the finals which will happen at Full Gear. Are you ready for the bracket, Jeff?
Yes.
Excuse me. The first match in the bracket. This match will be on Dynamite this Wednesday. Eddie Kingston versus All Ego Ethan Page.
Oh, dude.
The next match in the bracket. This is happening. Actually, all three of the next matches are going to be on Rampage next week. So Rampage is a must-watch show next week.
So this tournament is like a tournament that's happening, and it's going to culminate at Full Gear?
Correct.
Oh, shit. I thought we were having some sort of like battle royale. Okay.
No. This is a straight up a tournament it's a 2-week tournament. So you're going to get the first round next week, and then the second round the following week, and then the finals at Full Gear.
Okay.
Because we're 2 weeks from Full Gear. I don't know if you've realized that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. It's creeping up. Anyways, so first match, Eddie Kingston versus Ethan Page. The second match, I'm really excited for this one, which will be next Friday on Rampage. Roosh versus Bandito.
Oh, let's go.
The next match, also on Rampage, Lance Archer versus Absolute Ricky Starks.
Whoa, they're putting Ricky up against Archer right away.
Yeah. And then the final match in the bracket, which this is going to be a really fun match to revisit. Brian Cage versus Dante Martin. Friday on Rampage.
Cage versus Martin. Wow.
Yeah. So so I got to assume that Ricky Starks is going to beat Lance Archer, and I'm going to also assume that Brian Cage is going to beat Dante Martin, which means we're going to get this kind of this blood feud continuing with Ricky Starks and Brian Cage.
Yeah.
In the semifinals.
Oh yeah.
And then the other side, the other side of the bracket, I would assume Ethan Page is going to win, and then I think Bandito Roosh is a legit toss up. I think my prediction is Full Gear we're getting Ricky Starks versus Ethan Page. That's my theory.
That's yours, is Ricky Starks, Ethan Page at Full Gear?
Yes, that's my pick.
That's nice. I'm in on that.
Yeah. But so moving forward for the show next week, like I said on Dynamite, we're gonna get Eddie Kingston versus Ethan Page for the first match in the tournament. We will hear from Jon Moxley next Wednesday. We will also get an 8-man tag, The Acclaimed and FTR teaming up to take on Swerve and Our Glory and the Gun Club, which Keith Lee not very happy about. We will get Britt Baker and Saraya face to face. This will probably be where they announce that Saraya is cleared to wrestle, and we'll probably get Britt versus Saraya at Full Gear.
Okay.
And then we have the best 2 out of 3 falls match: Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara. And then lastly for Dynamite, we have Sky Blue versus Jamie Hayter.
On Dynamite, Sky Blue versus Jamie Hayter.
On Dynamite.
Oh man, the crowd better not be dead for that one.
Yep, and then we don't have the Rampage card, but again, those 3 other tournament matches are definitely going to take up an hour of TV time. Bandito, Roosh, Brian Cage, Dante Martin, Lance Archer, Ricky Starks. If I had to guess, I think Bandito and Roosh goes 20 minutes. I think Lance Archer, Ricky Starks probably goes a little over 10, maybe like 12, 13. Brian Cage, Dante, I could see that being a quick one, maybe like 9 or 10, like 9 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
That'll be about 40 minutes plus commercials. That'll be about an hour. Throw some promos in there.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good to me. I'm in. Can't wait. We're gonna be there live at Full Gear. Now, after the events on Wednesday with Darby and a JEFF.
Oh yeah. So Jeff, why don't you ask me some questions? Because I did watch Dynamite. I just didn't do the show. So ask me some thoughts about it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So after seeing what happened with Jeff Jarrett and Darby, do you think we're gonna get a match with Sting and Jeff Jarrett? Or do you think it's gonna be like a tag team, Sting and Darby versus Jarrett and Lethal?
I think they might go the tag route, but man, I would really love, just out of curiosity, to see Sting and Jarrett go at it one more time.
Yeah, I want to see a one-on-one between both of them. I really do.
Remind me when we end the show after we talk about Dynamite real quick to talk about not Ricky Starks, Jeff Jarrett, because I have some pretty. I'm actually really excited about this signing, but not for the on camera bit. But so yeah, it was really cool to see Jeff Jarrett. I think he looks great. I was shocked that he showed up in AEW.
So was I.
Because he was doing work with WWE. He was at SummerSlam. He was a referee in a match at SummerSlam. I mean, he's also been doing like the Tales from the Territory show, which that's the creator of Dark Side of the Ring. They did a show with The Rock, so it's much more of a Fed friendly show. I've noticed that they've had like a lot of like old WWE guys on there. Jerry Lawler was on there and stuff like that. So clearly, it's a project that WWE is kind of approved to existing. You know what I mean? Like, if their guys wouldn't be on it if they didn't approve of it. But so yeah, seeing Jeff Jarrett was wild. I think he looks great. I really liked Cole Carter aligning himself with them. I thought Cole looked really good in like the Sting getup. Like, obviously he's not going to wear that all the time, but I was like, damn, Cole Carter made that trench coat fucking work. I thought he looked great in it.
Yeah, the only thing about that is like the crowd was dead silent when he took the mask off. And I don't know if you saw the podcast, what I said. I'm like, when you're doing a mask reveal like that, people have to know who it is, and it has to be a big deal. You can't just do it for some dude.
Yeah, I get it, and I sympathize with that. I like the way that they did it, though. I do think it's a cool way to do it, but I hear you. I do agree that it's a little underwhelming because, obviously the buzz was going around previously on Wednesday that something big was going to happen and Twitter was going to be talking about it. And I think Jared was that thing. I mean, I know in the Discord you were like, it was Rick Ross. And like, yeah, Rick Ross was definitely a big deal. But at the end of the day, like, we can't underestimate, like, Jeff Jarrett's been fucking everywhere this year for a paycheck. The dude went to GCW, and then he's been doing like indie stuff, and then because he did like Ric Flair's last match, and then he went in WWE, and he was an executive in WWE at some point this year. Like, he was an executive, and then they let him go because that's just what they do. But yeah, I'm trying to think about what else happened on Dynamite. Jog my memory a little bit. What else big happened on Dynamite?
Let's see. Let me go back to my notes here for Dynamite. So, there was that All Atlantic Championship with Orange Cassidy, Luchasaurus, and Ray Fenix that was unfreaking real. That was one of my favorite matches.
Wrestler of the Year 2022. Jack Perry coming back was really cool. I thought him.
That table spot, man.
I think we might get him and Luchasaurus at Full Gear. Absolutely, this needs to be some sort of gimmick match. Like, this has to be something crazy. Like, this should be. I don't know if they do no DQ. I don't know if they do like a tables match. I don't know what you do, but I would do something really cool here. I think that you have the opportunity to do a really big match at the pay-per-view here.
Yeah, I feel like they come up with some sort of gimmick we haven't seen before that has the theme of the two guys, you know what I mean? Like
maybe. Trying to think what else.
Like in a dinosaur cage or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. What else happened on Dynamite? I like the Rick Ross promo. Apparently they got that done in one take. It just went so perfect. They just stuck with it. Rick Ross had me cracking up. Thought it was hilarious. I love Swerve. I love Keith. That was great work there.
Rick Ross was one of my favorite things on Dynamite, and I've been looking around and nobody's saying anything about him, you know, confirming another appearance, but man, it went over so well. They really need to try to hit this dude up to be like a manager of Swerve. And I even said, like, imagine him being like a Paul Heyman and having a couple of different people he does it for. Like, let's say Swerve in the men's division and then Athena in the women's division. Right. Dude, that'd be so sick. I'm 100% in for that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely agree with that.
Let's see what else we had. There was, okay, so this is actually what I really wanted to get your opinion on. The Jade versus Marina Shafir match. So, you know, we had all the bullshit go down on Twitter with you know who and all the ladies of the AEW locker room. Mm. I feel like Jade and Marina did their job here, but the Nyla Rose and Vicky doing the commentary completely ruined it and helped that fucking dude prove his point.
I slightly disagree. Okay. I don't think it was awful. I mean, granted, full disclosure, I didn't hear a lot of what Jade said because the Phillies were on. And while I was watching Dynamite, the volume on the TV was up and a lot more during the matches. The phone volume was a little down. I did see that Nyla and Vicky were doing the thing that they were doing. For me, it's pretty on brand for what Nyla's been doing, and I don't think that it necessarily hurt the match. I think JD's a fucking clown. I know you kind of wanted to dance around his name. I think the dude's just fine. Complete fucking clown show, because the thing is that, like, JD, number one, he's a clout chaser. This guy just chases the clout. Whatever it's popular, like, he has this really creepy thing with Triple H. And, like, as someone who grew up liking Triple H, like, I like Triple H. I used to like Triple H a lot. But, like, man, this guy, I don't watch his show, but, like, this guy has to call him Papa H. He has to be one of those guys. Yeah. He's just a creep about it. But, so, like, you could dislike the work that a wrestler does. We do it here on the podcast. We could say, hey, in our opinions as fans, we watch these shows. I've been watching wrestling for 2 decades. Jeff's been watching wrestling for 6 decades. And it's just, like, we are going to have educated opinions as fans. And we're going to have these opinions. And do I think Marina Shafir's work has been very good? I think that it's left a lot to be desired. I think that she's definitely shown some promises. I think she's got a good look going, and I think she does some good work. But there's room for improvement. JD's a bully. This guy comes and he says that, like, Marina Shafir is worthless. He takes her and he just says, "You're trash. You're always going to be trash. Fucking go away." And, like, yes, there are times where I have things where I have go away heat. But, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, even I don't give a shit about Roman Reigns. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Roman's never done any decent work in his fucking life. Like, that's just not realistic. And even though I might not like Roman's work, that doesn't mean I hate Roman Reigns as a person. Like, it's just like,
no, of course.
He's a bully. He's a hateful bully who like, he literally is the kind of guy that, like, he lives in his mom's basement. Like that's the vibe he gives me, and I don't give a fuck. Which is
funny because that's what I believe Britt Baker. That's what she hits him with all the time.
She did say that.
Like, to your point, like, he's saying somebody that's obviously green in the business is fucking terrible and get her off my screen. And I'm like, dude, she's obviously green. She's a rookie, man. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
I think that he understands that on the internet you can curse and be loud and be vulgar, and
yeah,
that people like that. And I understand that because I watched JD a little bit back in the day, because when I was looking for someone who felt the way I felt about WWE when I was phasing out of WWE, he was that guy who was chasing that clout. He saw his audience, and he knew that he could say these things to get those fans on his side. And like, now the tables have turned, and he sees an opportunity to now shit on AEW and get the Fed fans on his side. Which, like, I
yeah.
don't give a fuck. Do you make your money, I guess, but like, don't harass people. Like, and that's the other thing. Like, he was trying to, like, because I saw clips on Twitter because they were going around where he was like, I never tagged any of them in this, because so this whole started because AEW promoted the match, and he commented on it and fucking tagged Marina Shafir and Jade in it.
Yeah.
Like, he tagged them in it. Why? Like, I'm sorry. I think it's like the weirdest thing for you to tag celebrities and things. Like it's one
So
thing for them to tweet something and you respond to it, but like, I don't know. Like,
if
I
you
don't know.
tag somebody, it means you want them to respond. Plain and simple. It means you
Right.
want them to see it, you want them to hit the heart button, and you want them to respond to it.
Sure. Yeah. And it's just for him, and like, of course Jade's like, why did you think I was going to shit on Marina Shafir with you?
Yeah.
Like, and then like all of a sudden it's like JD starts playing the victims. He's all like harassing and hurtful and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden he's the victim. Okay.
Yeah. And they made a good point. They were like, dude, you make it personal. And the moment we come back and make it personal with you, you're all like playing the victim here. They're like, get out of here, dude.
It's a joke. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
I know I think I wasn't here Wednesday. I know you wanted to kind of touch on it. So there you go. We're touching on it. And he's a
Yeah,
clown.
it's
He's just a
it's just
complete.
like, come on, man. It's obvious that the moment Triple H took over, he completely changed his thinking on AEW for a good month straight. Just absolutely shit on everything they did for no fucking reason. Like, it is what it is.
Look, and again, like,
He
I'm not
deserved he deserved what he got from the locker room. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, and again, I'm not going to sit here and say that AEW is perfect. I said it earlier in the show. They're not
No,
perfect. Nobody's
nobody
perfect.
is.
But it's just like, come on, man. Like, there's just a certain like point where it's like you just have no credibility. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that you, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He's
No, you're
terrible.
good. I got you. I got you. So
Uh,
let's get to our final point of the night here. You said let's get back to it. Jeff Jarrett. What do you think on the pickup of Jeff Jarrett as the AEW, I believe, worldwide business executive? I think it
so
was
he's the AEW director of business development. Uh,
business development. There we go.
So this is a huge signing because I think next year, based off clues that we've heard from Meltzer and the Observer, amongst other things. So the tweet that revealed Jeff Jarrett is all elite was, "Welcome to AEW," from Tony Khan. "Welcome to AEW Dynamite, to the new AEW Director of Business Development at Real Jeff Jarrett. I look forward to expanding the AEW live events calendar in 2023, plus in future years with JJ and then two other folks who work in AEW, them being Raphael Morifi and Chris Harrington, and our entire great AEW team. Jeff Jarrett is all elite." So clearly he's talking about expanding the live calendar in 2023. Jeff, I think the time has finally come. I think it's finally happening. I think 2023 is the year they start going on the road more. I think you start getting Dynamite and Rampage. I think that, like, they're going to be two separate shows.
Yep.
I think they're going to do Ring of Honor separately as well. And now, so the Observer had a really interesting thing that I think really coincides with this is a lot of the talent, specifically the young talent in AEW, have requested Tony Khan start doing house shows because a lot of the younger talent want to focus on AEW, and a lot of them don't want to work the indies. They just want to build their craft in AEW. So they've requested that Tony start running
Okay.
these house shows so they can, get reps. Um, which I think is just a phenomenal idea. I think them doing a live show once a week. I think you don't have to have Tony really hands on with it. You can have a skeleton crew go there and put together a 2 hour show, and you can just have
Yeah.
fun with it. I think Jeff Jarrett signing and being specifically Tony mentioning the live calendar. Like, I think for me that just means, all of our complaints about TV time, all of our complaints about, you know, not getting guys on TV and there just not being enough work to go around. I really feel like this is Tony getting ready to correct what is to date his biggest mistake in AEW. And I'm so excited for it because it really is the biggest problem. Every week, like, the shows are fantastic. What's the number one thing we complain about? Where's Miro? Where's this guy? Why is Ricky Starks not on TV? I mean, obviously he's been dealing with stuff personally, but before that, where's Ricky Starks? Why is Orange Cassidy not on TV every week? Now he is, but you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like, these guys that people want to see every week, they're not always there. And it's because of TV time. Tony Khan has his booking where he just lays things out, and in his mind, it makes sense for a storyline to get put on hold for 3 weeks while the other storylines happen. But, for a week-to-week viewer, it's not a good idea to do that. So I'm very excited. I think having Jeff Jarrett there to help coordinate these live shows, like, let's start having 4 shows a week. I mean, obviously one of them being a house show where it's not taped. I mean, that, to be honest, I think Ring of Honor. I don't know if Ring of Honor travels. I still don't know what Ring of Honor is going to be.
Yeah, we'll see.
Part of me thinks Ring of Honor is going to take the Impact Zone spot where Dark was.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Coach. We'll catch you on the after recording.
Yeah, Coach. See you, man. But yeah, I just think that, Ring of Honor, maybe they'll do like a monthly taping once a month. They'll do 4 episodes of TV and tape that in advance. Maybe I think that might be the route they go with that. But yeah, man, like, these darks and elevations have been must watch since Rampage went to these live rampages this month. Because again, like, all of they did an experiment this month where all of the rampages were live. Tonight's rampage was live. The last rampage was live. The one before that, I think, was live. I think. But, like, bottom line, all of the Dark and Elevations have been really worth watching, especially. Like, the Rampage product has been better. Like, this is it, man. I think that this, like, obviously we say Swerve is the biggest acquisition of 2022, and like, in terms of talent, it's definitely, like, he's definitely up there, if not the number one. But I mean, in terms of business structure, this is so huge to bring Jeff Jarrett in, a guy who's been in the business for decades, as long as you've been alive, Jeff. We're talking like 50 years, and like, it's huge. It's really huge for AEW's live calendar, and I'm very excited to see how they handle their touring in 2023.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know. I believe Jeff Jarrett was in the same exact position with the WWE, earlier this year, and their numbers on live attendance were definitely up. You could attribute that to a couple of different factors, but he was definitely responsible for some of their live numbers going up. So it's definitely a positive. As for on-screen stuff, I hope he doesn't get on-screen too much. You know what I mean? But I'm okay with it. What he did with Darby there was freaking fantastic. The promo he cut was awesome. So, as long as they don't overdo it with him, it's all good.
So I'll say this. I think that Jeff Jarrett should be used in the capacity that Sting was being used. If I was them, I would not keep Jeff Jarrett with Jay Lethal and those guys for long. I don't think those guys need it. I would pair Jeff Jarrett with a young up-and-coming heel. I think Cole Carter is a great guy to put with Jeff Jarrett. I think that guy makes a lot of...
Like a little protege type thing?
Do what Sting and Darby did. Like Darby was already over before Sting got to AEW. Sting elevated Darby over that. And at the end of the day, I do think Darby and Sting is going to be Sting's last match. I think that's the match that you do. So, like, number one, I don't know how this happens. I don't know what it is, but something about AEW where, like, these old guys come in and they're just in fucking shape.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
I saw Jarrett, right? I'm sitting here watching while the Phillies game's going on because they both started at the same time. And I'm like, holy shit, Jeff Jarrett looks fucking great.
Yeah, he threw his jacket off, had sleeves cut off on his shirt. Looked good, man.
And I love the black, like the jacket, the hat. I thought it was just a great look.
Yeah, absolutely.
All around phenomenal. last thing I'll say about Dynamite, because we did not touch on this, was the Acclaim segment. The birthday bash for Billy Gunn.
Yep.
I thought that was fucking incredible. And just
Awesome.
they get him the fucking the to adopt them, the certificate.
Oh,
And
the certificate of adoption was
I'm just like,
great.
sign it. And he's like, I can't sign it right now because of my fingers. And then of course the Gun Club comes out, and that was just a great segment. I really loved the dig, where they were like, we had special guests planned, Billy, but they couldn't come last minute, and like it was clearly a dig at WWE not getting Billy to show up on Raw for the DX reunion. They were like, we had some guests, but two of them just couldn't make it last second, and the other two were kind of mad about you not being at the reunion.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. I was shocked that they referenced that they did that, but shouldn't have been.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, they're going to, because that's the pettiness we're talking about. Billy Gunn was going to be at the DX reunion. Tony Khan said, "Yeah, absolutely, you can go. I just want them to say that he's from AEW, or he's with AEW right now. That's it. Just do it."
And they
You know what
said,
happened
never
tonight?
mind.
You know what happened tonight, Jeff? And I forgot to mention it because it was in my notes. Well,
They
during the
mentioned
Shibata,
Shinsuke Nakamura, didn't they?
yes. So during the Shibata Cassidy match, because AEW respects us and understands that these people exist, like, oh my god, they were like, hey man, Shibata came up with these guys in Japan. Came up with Tanahashi, came up with Shinsuke Nakamura, and I'm like, you know what? I really appreciate you for that. I really appreciate that you're gonna mention Shinsuke Nakamura, because I fucking love Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
I miss Shinsuke Nakamura a lot. And you know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate that AEW has the balls to say WWE in a promo.
Wasn't Shinsuke part of Ring of Honor? Was he ever in Ring of Honor?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
I'm wondering if that's why they were able to mention him, or if that's why they did, possibly, but I'm
I
not sure.
I think they could just mention him. I mean, he's worked in other places other than WWE. So.
Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
I love me some Shinsuke, though. I'm pretty sure he has a match coming up in Japan. Looks like they let him go off and do a match, so
Yeah, he's
we'll
facing
see.
Great Muta. They're doing Great Muta a favor because he's Great Muta. I mean, he's a legend in the business. I mean, um,
Yeah, the light from your laptop is turning your face into a light bulb. That shit looks crazy.
oh my god, geez, sorry. It's because I
Uh,
opened a white tab for Wikipedia.
yeah.
Let's see. Shinsuke. He was in New Japan Pro Wrestling from 2002 to 2016.
Okay, no, he's been in WWE since then.
Yeah. So he was 2002 to 2016. He did some TNA work, and by TNA work I mean one match in
Okay.
2008. And then he's been in WWE since 2016.
All right.
Fortunately.
Never mind. So that they just referenced him because they wanted to. That's cool.
Well, yeah, man, Shinsuke's the man. I love Shinsuke.
All right. Well, it is approaching 1 a.m. for us here on the East Coast. So you want to go ahead and close us out tonight, sir?
Absolutely. Well, this has been episode 87 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a like and a subscribe. If you're watching this show, the YouTube exclusive Rampage show, you're already in our favorite place here at youtube.com. You can follow us on Twitter and all of our social medias down below. Again, thank you to everyone in the chat who hung out with us here live. Thank you to the coach who's going to be checking us out again tomorrow morning, and thank you to anyone else who didn't hang out with us here live but catching us later on YouTube. Come hang out with us. We love to talk to the viewers, and we have a very interactive show here. But yeah, I mean, we go live on YouTube following every single AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and even pay-per-views. Full Gears in 2 weeks. We will be there live. I have some ideas for what we're going to do. I will talk to Jeff off screen about those, and we'll figure it out. But until next time, see you guys on Wednesday. Phillies, man, let's get it. We got 2 games.
Yeah, let's go. We got to win 2 in a row. We lost our first 2 in a row. Now we got to win 2 in a row.
Well, Jeff, real quick last closing thoughts on the Phillies. So obviously the losses broke my heart the last 2 days.
Yes,
but
I know.
The amount of times that this team, like the season was over for this team, every single time they bounced back. They fired the coach. They lost Bryce for 60 games or whatever. He was out for like 3 months. They lost Segura. They lost, all these things, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And you know what? They made it to the fucking World Series. So I refuse to give up on the team until they lose their 4th game.
I agree, man. And I tell you what, they win that last game if that dude doesn't make that crazy catch on the wall.
Yeah, he's from here, so I hope that the people that know him, like, really let him know, like, you are not welcome.
Yeah, you definitely ruined it with that catch, man. But I do want to go over our we only had one subscriber over the last couple days that has their subscriptions unhidden. We did get quite a few subscriptions, but only one of them was visible to me. And that was from someone called Crazy Hell Wrestling. Thank you very much for that subscription over on YouTube there. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
And that's the only one we have to announce at the moment. But until next time, guys, we will see you on Wednesday. Till then, top guys, out. My button didn't work. Come on. Come on. There it goes.